Hi guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Hayley and my assessment was on child and adolescent sport grouping teams should be based on chronological age or maturation. Now, when I started this assessment, I was actually against chronological age as a method of grouping teams. Having been put in teams my entire life based on chronological age, I always felt that I was at a disadvantage because I was born in December, so I was younger than everybody else. Before we launch into all the literature, I think it's a good idea to define each of the terms. Chronological age is the number of years a person has lived, whereas maturation can be split into both physical and psychological. Physical's a growth process over a period of time, and psychological is the ability to respond to the environment in an appropriate manner. Now, it kind of leads us to which is the most effective method, and is the classification fair or accurate? Are there better ways in which children can be classified when creating sporting teams? Research suggests that maturation is a better form of classification for sporting teams, but why don't we adopt it? And that's what I'm going to look at. When classifying based on chronological age, generally the period of time is January to December of a particular year, and you'll be put into the group based on the age you turn that year. But there is a noticeable physical maturation of those born in January over December, and we'll talk about that shortly. Psychological maturation and readiness go hand in hand. Positive participation in physical activity can be irrelevant and invalid if the readiness and maturation levels of an individual are lower than the demands and expectations of that particular sport. Those who mature late have physical attributes that create disadvantages within themselves. Delayed cognitive and physical development in the participant can cause problems. And it needs to be asked, are they ready and do they understand what is actually being taught to them? The diagram in this slide shows the contrast between a late maturer and a fast maturer, those born in December and January. There's an 11-month age difference in chronological age grouping, but that correlates to their maturation levels as well. To understand why maturation isn't commonly used, we need to understand how to assess it. Assessing maturation can be done through the height to weight ratios of children, skeletal age and sexual ages of these children. And just reading that list, you can see why some of that would be a problem. Which leads us to assessing maturation. Most assessment methods for maturation is beyond the scope of most sporting governing bodies. It forces them to revert to chronological age, and the limitations are quite simply it's too costly, it's invasive, and they're often gender specific. So which method do we use? And after doing this assessment, chronological age is really at the moment the only option we have. There's little to no cost, it's unintrusive, and you don't need training to be able to administer it. So how do we combat the problem of chronological age being our only option? Well, as far as the research goes, it suggests that monitoring the aptitude of the participants is really important in assessing their skill levels. Research also suggests that encouraging free play in young children is a brilliant way to increase their skill levels. Assessing developmental readiness is always key. And having multiple squads that have similar skill levels instead of having all children grouped into one category, that's the best way to combat the fact that chronological age is the only option. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Here's my list of references.